like, wait, have you heard this? Nkrumah never dies. Have you heard that phrase before?
Yeah.
Nkrumah never dies apparently stemmed from while he survived 5 failed assassinations.
No way.
Bro, this dude, there was a bomb that exploded. There was a child who was supposed to bring the flowers to him. You ever seen that thing where the children bring flowers to him?
When they welcome.
Exactly. So someone implanted a grenade in that bomb. Yeah, the child died, by the way. And Nkrumah had shells of the grenade in his lower part of the body, but he still stood tall. Bro, he still stood tall. I mean, condolences to the child and all, but like, Nkrumah never dies, man.
Don't make me laugh with this.
No, I'm not trying to make you laugh. No, seriously. One day he shouted, "Oh yeah, yeah." People start to laugh at him. One day he shouted.
It's not one day.
I'm from
It's
Oh yeah, yeah.
No. You just messed up this song.
Okay, oh yeah.
When he
Shouted, oh yeah, yeah. I hope you're recording.
people start to
Laugh at him.
Hallelujah.
When he shouted, oh yeah, yeah. People start to laugh at him. Alright, Charlie. Oh.
Amen.
This is the African Wise Fools Podcast. I'm King D.
I'm D Moore.
Exactly.
And I'm top 5.
Up to 5. Now you're not gonna let me finish my intro, man.
I'm top 5.
I'm the one and only.
But I'm top
the
5.
one who went and brought it. Brought what people? I brought this truth, the seasoned truth to your unseasoned souls. This is the African Wise Food Podcast. I don't know who
What?
that is. I don't know. I think it works for me, brother.
Nah.
Weird draft, weird draft.
No, but you agree I'm top 5.
What is top 5?
No, I'm top 5.
What is top 5?
Period. Alright.
Alright, people, today, and thank you once again for joining us. Why did I push the mic? Yeah, I think my brain is not starting to work really well with me. Thank you so much for joining us on this another grand episode.
Yeah.
Today we're actually talking about a very special, important person in our lives, man. I mean, we're just having a huge impact. What's Ghana's Ashanta?
God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make our nation great and shine with our hearts you be lifted, we can cherish fearless honesty and make our nation great. It's all our way.
We're talking about forgive me more. I know we all don't need more of that.
And forevermore.
How you doing, brother?
I'm proud Ghanaian, bro.
Yeah,
I'm proud
you sing
Ghanaian.
the words right. We should when we release it, we should not send it to the Ghanaians living in Ghana.
Hey, but to be honest, I can sing the song and I can say the pledge. I can sing all 3 stanzas of the song. Yeah, of our national anthem.
Okay. We're talking about he's a doctor, right? It's Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Kwame Nkrumah.
The Prime Minister of Ghana.
No.
No?
The first president.
Yeah, he was Prime Minister, then President.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly, brother. Because we was Prime Minister when they were still under the the
Trying to see if you know your facts, yeah?
brother, I do know my facts,
He's
brother.
not prime minister.
He was the Prime Minister and he became President, man.
Guys, do you think he's a prime minister? Let's go fact check.
Fact check, niggas.
Okay.
Yeah, uncle.
Oh
man, and then we might get into it.
You get to learn how to sing God Bless Our Homeland Ghana.
Why are you scrolling?
My phone is dead.
That's right. You was the Prime Minister of Ghana. What you talking about?
Yeah,
man?
and I was also right because he was the first president.
I say he was the Prime Minister and then he became the President, man.
You're right, though. You're right.
Exactly. Come on, man. I've been studying this dude for a very long time. He's a hero of mine, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is a hero of mine. I mean, like, his ideals I actually like. You know there was a thing such as Nkrumahism.
Yeah.
Not the okra stew kind of thing, but
okay, now let me explain this because those of you who don't know.
No disrespect to Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
So in Ghana, Nkrumah means
okra
or okra.
Yeah.
So this man is talking about the prime minister, his hero.
We never know who
as
is.
okra. But you know what?
Yeah.
I like it because he's smooth like that.
Whack dude, bro. Whack dude. But yeah, man. So Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, man. First Prime Minister of Ghana. The first one to ever have the, not necessarily have the idea, but ever to execute properly the idea of independence and be a beacon of independence for the whole of Africa. And there was a one dude who believed in Pan-Africanism. He got his education from, he got that inspiration from Garvey. Who was also an African American here.
This is my hero, bro. Okay. Give me that facts,
bro. But yeah, no, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah is one of those. His story is one of those things that goes like, you either die young, you either die early and become a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And
no, you need to slow down.
I need to slow down.
I got you, bro. You either what?
You either die young and become a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That was Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's. That was him, man. That was the guy, bro.
But I still want to live long and become a hero.
Yeah, man. I want to live long to see my fruits, man. I'm not gonna care, but it's just
what kind of fruits?
I'm talking fruits of the kingdom. Fine, bro. But no, for real though, like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, man. Do you want to start with his origin?
Kwame Nkrumah was born in September 1909 to Kofi Ngoloma and Elizabeth Nanaba as Francis Kwame Ngoloma. He was born in Nkrofo, Gold Coast, a village located in the Elembele district in the western region of present-day southern Ghana. Nkrumah was chosen to be trained as a teacher at the Government Training College, now known as Achimota School, in Accra by its principal, Reverend Alec Fraser. It was during his training here that he was exposed to the ideas of Marcus Garvey and W.E.B. DuBois by his headmaster, James Kwegyir Aggrey. Although Aggrey, Fraser, and others at the school taught that there should be cooperation between the races in governing the Gold Coast, Nkrumah, channeling Garvey, believed that there could only be harmony between the races when the black race governed itself. Kwame became a teacher at a Catholic seminary and adopted the name James. He also gained further interest in black nationalism after meeting journalist and future Nigerian president Nnamdi Azikiwe, who became his mentor. In 1935, Kwame traveled to and remained in the U.S. for 10 years. Here, he further grew his passion for black nationalism, and in 1945, he changed his name to Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah traveled to London in May 1945 to pursue a doctoral degree and was one of the principal organizers and co-treasurer of the 5th Pan-African Congress. In November 1947, after being questioned by British officials about his ties to communism, Kwame Nkrumah made his way back to the Gold Coast.
So yeah, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was born in Western region.
In Nkrofo. I've actually been there. I think I should have brought a picture of me in when I visited Nkrofo, and that's the same place that
Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah, where he was born. Where he was born, he was raised. He actually has a very interesting story about how he was born. So I think when he was born, there was like some sort of fetish thing, like this. I don't want to call it. It's more like a traditional ceremony thing they did on his behalf.
On his behalf.
Yeah, his parents thought that he was very unique as a child. So yeah, he was very unique as a child. So I think they came to realize that his as a result of his uniqueness, they gave him the name Nkrumah, which if I'm right, I think it meant something. I've forgotten. So it meant something
it meant the one who come and liberate us all. The liberator. but let me slow down on my, because you never know who's listening, gonna be like, this guy's getting a little radicalized, you know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden my phone is getting tapped. I'm a big fan. No, okay.
Yeah.
Now let's just talk about Nkrumah. Like, what exactly did he do to put him on the map?
Okay, so one of the things that made him stand out actually is the fact that Kwame Nkrumah was the face of Ghana's independence.
Absolutely, and this was actually how he started though. Like when he was actually, he came to, I believe he was in America. He was studying philosophy. I forget what kind of course he was studying, because he was supposed to also go to Britain to continue his law school. However, he did not have money, but he was also getting
money.
No, was it Britain? But he didn't have money to be able to do the law. But however, he was also engaged in certain he was with the idea of socialism. He was engaged in certain protests against, capitalism way kind of thing. So basically, someone convinced him of the idea of socialism. And when he didn't have a job and he didn't have money, one of the prominent figures in Ghana at the time, they called themselves UGCC. Said, yo, want to come and join us in this movement, where at the time the British government was planning on basically slowly removing their control from African nations, but they were not doing it fast enough. It was like, we're gonna keep on slowly winning ourselves away.
Yeah, they were stepping away from
their colonies.
Exactly.
But they were gonna put their own sort of like leaders that they believe will be able to help.
Yeah.
Exactly. So they invited Nkrumah, one of the prominent figures by the name of J.B. Dankwa.
Yep.
He's
part of the Big Six.
The Big Six. When Nkrumah joined, they became the Big Six. Nkrumah joined, but Nkrumah was a little too radicalized for all of them, man.
Really?
Yeah, he was, bro. This dude was a wild boy, man.
Tell me about it, guys.
Bro.
Tell me about your hero.
Yo, bro. No, he was a little wild for them. Like, so the party at the time had this mentality of saying, we're gonna let the British, we're gonna believe their word that they're gonna slowly let us go. But Nkrumah was like, nah, but we want it right now, man. We want it today.
If you're gonna free me, you better free me now.
Exactly. That was Nkrumah's words, man. And when he said that, of course, there's gonna be conflict between the two of them. Like, we say slowly, you say right now. And so things got a little too much, and so I think he left the group and then created his own group called the CPP. That was the birth.
CPP. No, CPP,
bro.
It's like CPP.
But here's an interesting thing, though.
Okay.
Nkrumah is the first Ghanaian president to ever become a president in prison. Yeah, bet y'all didn't know that.
No.
He was actually
no
the first.
Way.
Yeah, bro.
No way.
Bro, that's the
No
funny
way.
part. So when he tore himself away from the group, the party, and they made himself the CPP, head of that. A lot of people were kind of gravitating towards him, right? Because he was already building his fan base in UGCC, and when they realized that, oh yeah, this guy, he speaks in a way that actually really touches me too. I'm also feeling the things that he's talking about. Motivated. He inspired those people. So when he left, he already had his fan base with him, and so they started multiplying when they heard they put him in jail too.
Wow. Because
that's what the British company did. They realized that, okay, this guy is spreading certain ideas that are gonna turn our whole thing all around. And so they put him in jail. They thought that was the right move to do, but instead, unknowingly, they made him a martyr. And then everyone started gravitating towards if they put him in jail, it means he's speaking facts. And they started, and that's where the numbers came.
I know his speeches were very, 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 very
inspired.
Yeah, inspired. I think we're gonna play one of them.
You got it?
Yeah. So this is Kwame Nkrumah's speech. Okay. Yo. Okay, let me tell you, I'm a bit cheap. I'm not buying no.
So DuBois is also a frugal human being, just so you all know.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There we go.
There is a new African in the world. That new African is ready to fight his own battle and show that after all, the black man is capable of managing his own affairs. And my last warning to you is that you all should stand firm behind us so that we can prove to the world that when the African is given a chance, he can show to the world that he's somebody. We are waking. We shall no more go back to sleep anymore. We are going to demonstrate to the world, to the other nations, young as we are, that we are prepared to lay our own foundation. As I said in the assembly just a minute ago, I made a point that we are going to say that we create our own African personality and identity. This is the only way in which we can show the world that we are ready for our own battle.
Imagine hearing this. Imagine hearing all of this during the time when you feel like, yo, man.
You know, all I'm thinking about.
What are you thinking about?
Arise, Ghana, for your country, the nation demands your devotion. Let us unite to uphold them and make them great and strong. We are all involved. We are all
back to those days.
Yes. Now I'm pumped up.
But that was the guy, man.
Wow.
Imagine hearing all this during the time when, like, you didn't really feel like, oh man, like I even deserve to say, I as a black man, or I as a Ghanaian man, I am capable of managing my own thing. Oh, by the way, you know the name Ghana was actually conjured up by J.B. Dankwa. It wasn't.
Yeah, I heard.
So J.B. Dankwa was the one who came up with the name Ghana, and then everyone started going along with it and all this. But so back to the point of where he became president in prison. So they put him in the ballot boxes. He was motivating a lot of people, and a lot of people turned out to vote for him. They were like, "This is our guy. We like this guy," and he became president. So
just like that.
Yeah, he found a loophole because when they sentenced him to prison, he found a loophole that gave him an opportunity to be able to put himself on the ballot boxes.
Yeah.
And he exploited it, and then he did it, and that was how he won. And when he won, he started motivating other people, and then finally pushed Ghana to be able to gain their independence in 1957, where he gave that famous speech.
March 1957.
Where he gave that famous speech, baby, which is Ghana, our beloved country, is free forever.
Ghana, our beloved country,
Is
free forever.
free forever.
You can't discard that.
No. I love it. Every 6th March when we celebrate the Independence Day of Ghana, I think that's one of the speeches that every kid watches on TV, and then it gets there and you're like.
That's the speech that introduces you to Kwame Nkrumah.
Yeah. That's the speech that introduces.
But he was big though. He was like Messiah big in Ghana, bro. But like people really love this guy, man, because like the way that things were going, it was just. And apparently, like, he used to make time to help anyone who would want to come to him. Like, he was helping out with marital issues. Apparently, he was helping out with fertility issues too. I was like, how do you?
Wait.
I was like, apparently. But apparently, who knows how he was helping?
I know you're not trying to talk about your hero like that.
Listen, nah. That's why he's my hero too. Hey, no tax is too small.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, I'm gonna cut this out.
And so, you used to help his Ghana mates and stuff, and when he took over, like, he helped exploit Ghana's resources to a point where, they were making, Ghana was flourishing, But like I said, sometimes you either die young and become a hero, or you live long enough to become a villain. And unfortunately, this was Kwame Nkrumah's story. So, do you know the story of the Animal Farm?
No.
Animal, you don't know the book Animal Farm?
Oh, I know. I think I read the book a while back.
What do you want to?
I don't have a collection.
I got you. So it was basically where the farmer was sort of like exploiting the animals, their eggs, and then all of those things. And so the animals felt like we can govern ourselves, and so they kicked the farmer out. And what became was that those who kicked the animals that kicked the farmer out later on turned to act the exact same way like the farmer they kicked out.
Oh.
Wow. And apparently, during Nkrumah's time, he kind of banned those kinds of books from Ghana, apparently. Because kind of like
Animal Farm.
Like Animal Farm,
This is like pretty big propaganda.
But like, I mean, I've noticed a trend with African, well, not I won't specifically as African, black leaders. Like whenever they get into positions of power, like, why do you think that all of a sudden they kind of forget where they come from?
I don't think it's kind of forget where they come from. I honestly don't. It's not something I still have an understanding for, but it's something that I've witnessed so many times that. Like when they come into power, it's like they switch.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I'm in power, and then I want to do what I want. And there's something I've realized about, like, let me say, some sort of African leadership.
Yeah.
Right, is that we have what I personally call selfish problem.
Which is what?
Which is that when an African wants to grab and do it for themselves. Other than do it for the greater good or for the whole nation. Yeah. Right. So, because I mean, of course, you would want to be good in order to help, but then we always want to be good so we can stay good.
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
So basically, I just want to be good so that I can get good things coming to me, kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of thing. So if it's so long as I'm good and then things seems to be going
good,
I'm fine. So like, let me give you an example. Like, this is not to speak down on any African or anything as such, right? Yeah. But then when I first moved to America, I witnessed something that it became like a big shock to me.
Which was what?
In the black community was that I witnessed the difference between when, let's say, a lot of, let me say, like Africans or let me say black people, we go to events. And this was like, let's say, our work or school, and then they tell us there's free food, everybody's happy. Yeah. I want to grab one. You want to grab one. You want to grab one.
Who doesn't like free things?
Yeah, I'm ready. I grab one, but then I grab one, and it's like, I'm just thinking about me. I'm not thinking about you. Behind me. Right. So long as I eat,
I got food. Yeah. You have legs too. You can go grab yours. Yeah.
So I, for once, grabbed like, let's say, I don't remember what it was, but I remember it was food. Yeah. So let's say I grabbed like pizza, and it was just 10. And then maybe like 6 in the room. I just grabbed 2 because 2 is what I feel like I can eat. Yeah. I feel good. Yeah. But then the next person that was behind me just grabbed just one. And then said that, oh, the other people may need one, so. But I was
damn, bro.
I only grabbed 2 because I didn't think about the people behind me. Bro, I'm just here to
that's
eat.
Not a good look for you,
I'm just here to eat.
That's not
and it was a big shock to me because I realized that.
So basically, I mean, what if one can say that maybe like 2 pizzas is what like makes you full?
That's what I did. 2 pizzas make me full.
And then someone is not gonna be full. Someone's
gonna be full. So there I noticed that, and I'm not praising like.
Yeah, I know.
It's just like
that's the mentality.
Yeah, my mentality was that let me just be fine
for you. Yeah.
And then I noticed that every other person that came back was like that was black. It was like, now like, bro, you need to get like, don't worry. It's like, why do you care?
Right.
Just eat yours and go. But then I noticed the difference between like that and some of the white people that like I saw, and I'm not comparing. But then I said, wow. This kind of reflects in everything. So as I was like, as time went on, and even when I went back to Ghana, I noticed that that's how we are. We just grab like leaderships, just grab. They just grab for themselves and please themselves. But that doing that, others are suffering.
Is that a cause of the fact that like there is not abundant resources? So it's sort of like, what is it?
No, go ahead.
Like there's not abundant resources. So it's like I need to make sure that I have enough for another day kind of mentality. I do not care who is there or not. I have to just get one for myself.
That could be possible.
But well, unfortunately,
could be possible.
That Kwame Nkrumah kind of went that his regime kind of went down that route. Sort of like what you're talking about. Like what they were spreading was socialism, right? And they were spreading all sorts of ideas that were against the U.S. capitalism and all of that. And US was capitalism at the time. Well, it is still capitalism, but like Kwame Nkrumah, when he gained his independence, so it was during the time of the Cold War, US versus Soviet Union, and it was communism versus capitalism. Okay. And US had a certain policy of containing communism and not allowing it to spread any further. So when Kwame Nkrumah came along with that mentality and he said that, I'm not stopping at just Ghana, I'm gonna make sure I liberate an entire continent of Africa.
Africa.
So which means United States of Africa. Yeah. So when he said that, he kind of put it. They put it on. He got on their radar, man. So
Nkrumah dead.
He wasn't too sleepy for that. You get it? It's okay.
Yeah, that was a good one. I was saying that was terrible. But
okay, screw you. So he so Nkrumah did that, and then he was gaining he was gaining the momentum, and like a lot of leaders were meeting up with him and stuff. He was helping them. He was exporting soldiers in certain nations that needed independence. He was doing all that, but like that was also the issue that came with it. It's like you finally liberated your nation. You're not trying to make sure that they are really good first before you start going for other areas. I remember one famous speech of his is that until all African nations have gained independence, Ghana's independence is meaningless. That was a very powerful thing to say before Ghanaians too, and like you were saying before, like you grab what makes you fall. Ghana at the time had felt that I had not grabbed what will make them fall yet.
You think so?
I think
he was just. I want to hear. What do you think about that? That he wanted to liberate every African country first before he
felt like
I've done something for my nation. Because what do you think about that?
I think it's a big dream that he was not willing to entrust to anybody except himself, right? And it's a dream that you can't do alone. But in his head, he thought he could. And also, aside from that, you have to also make sure your home base is good and safe. That no matter what, your home base got you.
Okay.
But he didn't do that. He looked at it. So as Steve said, think about it. It's like your father here, right, brings your mom and you over to this side, like America. He's gonna give you the resources out of it, but like. He's not checking on how well you're growing up. Now he's sending all his resources out to other people. Exactly. Now you are growing up in a whole sort of weird ways, and he doesn't really know much about it because he's not taking good care of it. And then one day when you finally explode, he doesn't even know where that energy is coming from. So that was the issue with him.
Okay.
That's what happened to him, man. And and when he was doing all that, people were like, wait, are you trying to say that you one day want to be the president of Africa? That kind of thing. So that's why it started going a little down.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Uncle Nkrumah is
Oh, they tried. Wait, have you heard this? Nkrumah never dies. Have you heard that phrase before?
Yeah.
Nkrumah never dies apparently stemmed from while he survived 5 failed assassinations.
No way.
Bro, this dude, there was a bomb that exploded. There was a child who was supposed to bring the flowers to him. Have you seen that thing where the children bring flowers to him?
When they welcome.
Exactly. So someone implanted a grenade in that for the child died, by the way. And Nkrumah had shells of the grenade in his lower part of the body, but he still stood tall. He still stood tall. Condolences to the child and all, but Nkrumah never dies, man.
I don't think don't make me laugh with this.
No, I'm not trying to make you laugh. No, not seriously. We're not saying it's so messed up. Whoever did that, the devil is waiting for them. But
but Nkrumah never dies.
Nkrumah never dies. But
Wow.
So you're right. Such plans like that.
I think the idea was such a good idea. And for me, not to say that we are not good. I feel like Africa would have been better if we all united. Although again, I think also it's going to be very tough.
It's going to be because we're different.
We're very, very different in culture, very different in languages, which is crazy because Ghana alone has a lot of almost 100 languages, or if I'm right, or probably more than. So imagine the continent of Africa with all its uniqueness.
And I think we can use our past to be able to help bridge the connections between us all. One thing that Africa can definitely say is that we have all experienced, our ancestors have experienced colonialism, it's slavery. So
most of them.
Exactly. And then also the one thing that the colonizers left was their language, English or French. If we're able to decide on these 2 languages, and then let that be like how in Ghana, an Akan person can speak with a Ghana person, even if they don't speak Ghana. They
Yeah.
have English to be able
Yeah.
to help bridge them up. We can do that too across the entire continent of
That's
Africa.
tough. Then who gives up theirs?
French or English? I'm just English. Your French is just too much,
Do
bro.
you actually know that French or English are not the most widely spoken language in Africa?
Oh, really?
No.
No, which one is?
There is Swahili.
Swahili?
Yeah, I think Swahili.
I'm too old to learn a new language.
Nah, let me see. Most spoken languages in Africa. Yes, I think it's Swahili. There is Swahili.
Yeah.
There is another.
Is it Xhosa?
No.
Hey, I did my best to your South African people.
Wait, hold on.
I knew a buddy of mine who
Amharic.
Amharic. Oh, that's
Arabic.
Ethiopian.
Yeah, so there are like different languages that are spoken in Africa, and I don't think it's because Swahili is like number one, Amharic and Yoruba way before even like the English and all those stuff. Although they are spoken and a lot of people know it, but is that really the language? Is that really something that people?
So you're saying that we should invest in speaking Swahili or Arabic?
I don't think anybody should give up their languages.
I mean, okay, wait. No, I don't say it that way. It's not necessarily giving it up, though.
No, so when you say national, like a united language, which for me it can take away the other languages, because like let's be real right now. There are a lot of Ghanaians that have moved away from their tribal language.
Absolutely.
And just speaking English.
That's true.
And I don't think it's right at all, because that is something that makes us unique. That is something that sets us apart. That's something that we can know. When I went to a neighborhood and I don't know anybody, but I hear Charlie, what's up?
Yeah.
What's it saying?
Yeah.
I'm like, brother's here.
I mean, maybe like, what about the Ghanaians who were like brought here and they didn't really have the language spoken?
See, again, that's also something that it could carry on. I don't think culture shouldn't be lost because of location. That's my I know culture gets lost because of location, but I say it shouldn't be that. We should challenge ourselves to teach the next generation.
Yeah.
And I pray and hope and wish that my kids are going to learn and learn to not just speak, to be able to write, and because I know people that were born here and never ever grown up,
but they can speak the language.
But they can speak the language.
Means their parents were on them on speaking the language.
I don't know how, but it worked. So if they can do it, I think every family should be able to.
But then how does that involved in our conversation of like Pan-Africanism? Well, we're not talking about Pan-Africanism, we're talking about Dr. Kwame
Nkrumah's vision.
Yeah.
Not because the vision of uniting all Africa is not bad. But then if you say we uniting all African and then deciding on one language, that's what I'm saying, that it can, not that I don't think it can work or anything. It may work, it could work or whatsoever. It can take away the desire to learn like your language, your tribal language. And or it can become a challenge or something good.
I feel like we do ourselves a disservice when we say we don't want to try and learn other language. Like I even said, I'm way too old now to learn, which I was just playing around. But like I'm actually trying to learn how to speak French and Spanish at the moment. We will see.
No, I learned French and
Bonjour.
So bonjour, ça va?
Ça va très bien, merci et vous?
Oh, oui.
Oh, man, the way I spoke that thing, man. Oh,
no. I'm pretty sure any French watching this is gonna be like,
what you mean? The way I spoke that thing, you see how I put that accent in that thing, you know what I mean?
Let me be honest, that's the French you know.
No.
But in Ghana, for example, has started embracing the idea of like learning different languages, especially the language of the official language of the neighboring countries. So that's why Ghana, for example, has adopted French as part of the curriculum that students have to study to encourage them to be able to let me say at least be able to communicate with neighboring countries.
You know, the issue about language is that the issue about language is how it impacts the nation's development, because there are people who are very smart, but because this is another language that they have to learn, they always have to think in two languages before they can actually even produce what they are trying to do. Like for example, for me, right?
I
Like,
think you're talking about me. Okay.
oh no, it was me.
When you said very smart, I was like, oh, okay, stop.
Please, don't bash
Go
yourself.
ahead, go ahead.
So, like for me, for example, right? Like when I was very good with, like, I was very smart, not very smart, but I was smart.
Hey, bro, you gotta believe in yourself. You
No,
talk
I know who I was. I knew who I was.
I thought you said, you know, I don't know.
The one and only Kid B. But I knew I was
No,
smart. But
okay.
like when I came here, I had to always be thinking on a two language level. Like I had to first think of it in Fancy, then in English, and then you have to translate. And it was a huge challenge for me when I was facing other first class English language speakers. They were talking. They'll be reading books within like a week. They'll be done, and I would have to keep on practicing that very same chapter over and over to make sure I get it then done. It was very hard. So it's like I see how it would be a problem for nations' development when smart people are being held back because they can't pass a certain language test, but they have the good ideas to make sure that they can be able to execute certain things that will be able to help development of the nation. And if we're doing Pan-Africanism and we're saying, say we're choosing one language as the main language, I feel we'll be doing ourselves a disservice. I'm not saying we should learn other languages, we can, but we shouldn't necessarily have this commitment that if you do not learn this one language, then we all can't agree on anything at all. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if Ghana, for example, was learning tree and actually just involved themselves in learning tree and fancy, bro, like, do you know how much they can move up? Like China, for example, learns Mandarin, right? Speak Mandarin. Like all their thoughts and everything is in Mandarin. So you see how much they can develop that. Japan, Japanese, they do the same. It seems like every other nation have a language that they speak at home that they also speak in their management, And English is sort of like a secondary if you want to travel overseas and stuff.
Okay.
But like whenever they print their manuals, it's always in their language.
Yeah.
Right? Whenever they do everything, it's always in their languages. I think it's only some African nations that they can't produce certain things in their own languages for their own people to understand. It's always in English. I mean, you know that there is no English word for Kwegyir. I don't think it's food. Like one of us someone say Kwegyir, and I don't think of it as a food.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know, man. But like, I know, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't know, like that was Pan-Africanism's Kwame Nkrumah, one of Kwame Nkrumah's idea. But we never talked about. So there was something that I wanted to add. Like Kwame Nkrumah was very devoted to this idea of Pan-Africanism, that he decided to marry an Egyptian woman who never spoke English.
Fatia Fatam Nkrumah.
Oh yeah, that was her name. Yeah, she was fine. Fine girl.
Fatia. She's a very beautiful
She
woman.
was beautiful. She was very beautiful, and she married him even though she didn't speak English.
I wonder how.
So I mean, exactly. And they had like how many? 5 children?
I think he had 5 children. Yeah.
How were they able to say hey?
Come on,
I don't know.
Okay, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue. So again, I don't think I don't know if she never spoke English. I'm pretty sure there was
A translator?
No, I don't think a translator. But I know that there could be something that was common among them. I don't think. I'm not quite sure.
It didn't seem like that. It seemed like
sure.
I think he married her out of like a sign kind of thing. Africa.
They stayed together for a very long time. And I know, you know a funny thing, Nkrumah was actually an honorary co-president.
He was in Equatorial Guinea, right?
Yeah, in Guinea. So
Is it Equatorial Guinea or
no, Guinea. So the I think after he was exiled. So after that he basically ended up.
How did he get exiled?
So it was one of the issues. I think that there was a coup d'etat. That happened when he had traveled outside Ghana.
Imagine that.
So because of that,
he was a peacekeeping.
Yeah.
He was out here going to save some people.
These people were like that is normal. If he come home, we give it a hand. So I think he never returned to Ghana after that. So, but he was very, very focused on his idea of Pan-African, like the African unity. that he lived in Guinea, and the president honored him. The president of Guinea honored him as a co-president.
He did.
That's where he lived.
No, they loved him, man.
Yeah, people. I think African countries and different African leaders loved him, and even his people loved him. So,
they did.
But
they just had different ideas on. But no, okay, he did it to himself.
I don't want to go into that.
No, we should go. I mean, that's the whole point of African Wise Fools podcast.
Whether he did it to
Wise
himself,
or Fools, we
or
doing
he
it, man.
Do it to himself.
I'll tell you why.
Why do you think he did it to himself?
Oh, should we say why he was? I don't want to say why he was a fool in this. I don't want to disrespect my hero like that.
Okay,
but I'll say.
I think we need to talk about the story of how he got overthrown.
Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So after Nkrumah, after he post-colonization, right? Everyone's happy, this is our guy, Messiah, and everything. Yeah. And he started, like his peacekeeping, independence, liberating kind of thing with other nations. Ghana was flourishing and stuff. But like, as Ghana was flourishing, Nkrumah's regime turned out to be like the people that they had just discarded, where they started, some of the people who were working with him and all those things started amassing certain amounts of wealth that they did not previously owned. You know what I'm saying? So a bribe here, a bribe there, a bribe everywhere, kind of thing started building up, and it kind of made Nkrumah look bad. Now, whether or not he was also a part of it in gaining such mass wealth, who knows? But it didn't look like he was as broke as the average Ghanaian. And it was kind of pissing a lot of Ghanaians off. It was like, you said you're gonna come and then help me out in doing all these things, and yet you're out here enjoying all the things that, like, what do you mean that we're all broke, yet you always look as if you're living lavishly? There was one minister who had a golden bed imported to him, and the dude looked like he was owning. He had 14 expensive cars, a lot of wealth, a lot of houses owned. And he was working with Nkrumah, so it's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, you are doing exactly what they were doing before, and it was pissing people off. And also, before you come here, and also, apparently, all of this, the flames were there, but the light, something to, was the fuel to light up the flames to be much more, to become bigger, was during the time of the Cold War. Uncle Sam didn't like, Nkrumah's ideology. And you know what happens when Uncle Sam doesn't like your ideology, Yeah. So
which is something very common in
Africa,
African countries. For me personally, I think I'm gonna use this platform to speak on it.
Hey, bro,
I'm not a big fan of,
because it's the African wise.
I'm not a big fan of
interfering
with other countries' affairs, especially
because for your own when it's been
because for me, for instance, I believe that if you're going to interfere, influence them to make their own choices.
Facts.
Not influence them to make a choice that you like.
Yeah.
So I understand that some countries are very, very experiencing so many bad things, and everybody would want somebody to come in and step in and help.
Absolutely.
But in stepping in to help, you are also taking power away from the people, from the choice away from the people doing their own work, right? So, for example, like Nkrumah, for instance, actually, when Nkrumah traveled to China, was on his way to China when the coup happened. Yeah. Right. And before that, he was very, very aware about the involvement of Uncle Sam and the CIA and all those, which is all these are even like out now online. You can go read about that.
I remember some when you finish it, I'll tell you. But these are all true and they are out there, so it's not like conspiracy.
Nah, it's not conspiracy theories.
This is true.
No.
Like you said, we bring the seasoned truths.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
So CIA was very, very much involved in the coup d'etat that happened in Ghana. Yeah. Right. A lot of people actually now argue that Nkrumah, if he had stayed longer, he would have made Ghana better. Because that's a lot of argument. Like, for example, some of the structures that Nkrumah put up.
He did a lot. He did
like his structures are still working big time now in Ghana compared to what previous his
before all the president
everybody has
absolutely
his structures were like lasting. These days even common roads don't last.
Bro, we're doing cathedral now.
Common roads. I don't want to go into that.
We're gonna go into that, brother. We're gonna go go into that, man.
If we want to talk about Ghana, you know, we can go
that was
into
Nkrumah time. But like, you know, the one thing that actually also, there were multiple things, but like the big three is, so the corruption thing, Uncle Sam involvement, and then the big one that actually even pushed it all was Nkrumah did the one thing you're not supposed to do, which is he became an authoritarian, he became a dictator, right? And he passed a certain law. Or someone would say that, oh, it's not like he passed a law, he put it through the parliament and the parliament. But he kind of had, it was this kind of law that was like, if I feel like you're a threat to me, I have the power to put you in jail. No trial, nothing. That kind of mentality. Yeah. So I think before the bill passed, it was just a few number of people. After it passed, it moved on to like 200. Then I think by the year of it's like really like 3 years or 4, it was like 1,000 people already in jail. Yeah, bro. This was bad, bro. He was making enemies by the thousands.
So essentially, a lot of people too were not happy with what's going on. Like,
he became paranoid because of all the assassinations.
Let me give you this, and I'll speak this one. The disclaimer: I'm not very educated on what I'm about to say, but from my perspective of what I saw, and which is just basically stuff on the news, was that, for example, Gaddafi was spoken of as a bad leader. You know, he's a dictator. He was doing all the bad things.
But underneath,
all I also knew that his country was safe. Like his people were cool. Like I never heard of slavery going on in the country.
Gaddafi went left of Uncle Sam, man.
Like, and then with Uncle Sam involvement, for example, they had to put Gaddafi together. And then right after.
What happened?
The country used to be ranked like top.
And what happened to the country now? What happened to the country now?
It's like
it's
like the least countries in the world right now.
We came to give them democracy.
Everything just went bam. Like it fell down. I'm not saying that. That's one of the reasons why I'm saying like involvement may be good, but it also destroys.
No, involvement, but then your involvement should not be up to your benefit. It should be like for the people's benefit. Like if I see a couple having a fight, right, and I see that the man is really like dogging the shout about the woman, I gotta go support the woman or the guy.
You think it's a boy that kill the woman and marry the woman?
No, not that. But like no.
Yeah, King D's. Is your D David?
Shots. I see what you mean. That's funny. But like, you go and help the woman out, not because you want to do anything to the woman, but like you see something wrong, you do the right thing, and whether the woman benefits comes to you or not, as long as she's okay, fine. So that's what I thought that Uncle Sam was doing all back then. But it turns out that there were different motives behind it.
Did you really think that that's what they were doing?
I know when I was a kid. That was when I was a kid. When I didn't really know that much. When they were going to other nations, I thought, oh, okay. Like whenever you heard of the Iraq War, I thought they were going there to help them. But then you read later on, and then you see other things, and you realize, oh, okay. I see you only did this for your own benefits. Like you didn't really see.
There are other motives behind it.
So that was basically the story of Kwame Nkrumah. Yeah. He lived to save Ghana. He, unfortunately, his paranoia based on their 5 assassination attempts on his life made him become the villain that no one wanted to see. And his own people decided to exile him.
From Ghana. And then he lived in Guinea until Guinea. Funny interesting thing, he was after he was exiled, he became very, very concerned and always thought that the foreign agencies were still after him. To the point where his cook died.
Dang.
Yeah, his cook died. And so he started eating hoarding food. Like he would let nobody cook for him.
Yeah.
He was hoarding food. This was when he was in Guinea. So it was like he thought he was poisoned.
Apparently,
and he died.
Yeah.
They were after him.
They were after him.
I'm coming after you, and then you gotta go.
Because he's still alive. There's nothing more dangerous than the Black Revolutionary.
And it turns out, whilst he was exiled, he was still very, very very devoted to the idea of
Pan-Africanism.
African unity.
Yeah.
And it didn't.
Do you know how crazy powerful would be though?
Yeah. Yo, I think it's a very big idea. Like it's massive.
It's an idea that
idea.
threatens a lot of powerful people's money, like the minerals, Africa, right? everything linear is right there, Africa. Like if these people all of a sudden get up and say, I'm gonna push that bribery money you're trying to give me from overseas, I don't want it, I'm gonna do all this now. I feel like it's gonna turn into some weird war where all the nations against Africa, bro.
Are you kidding?
I don't think about
this is a big conspiracy.
No. Think about it, bro. You have decided away to keep away the money that I've been investing in this very land. Now you've gotten up, you're like, screw that money. Here's your money, I don't want it anymore. We're gonna do our own thing. All the African leaders agree on that thing, no matter how bad you try to torture them or do that, they said no, we're not gonna budge. You telling me you're gonna keep quiet and just watch them develop? Bro.
Wow.
Bro, after everything they've done, I think I'm gonna have my phone tapped soon. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this.
You might be spying on.
Okay, alright, fine. That's conspiracy theory. I'm just a conspiracy, but like, yeah, that was basically his. I mean, and also apparently his death they said it was cancer.
Yeah, prostate cancer in Romania.
Apparently
he traveled to.
He went to the enemy's territory.
He traveled to Romania. He basically was not well. He traveled to Romania. Like what happened was that it got to a point where he lived in so much fear that he even thought that they were going through his mail.
Shucks, I mean, bro, who knows?
Like they were going through his mail.
I mean, bro, if you have 5 assassination attempts,
basically like constant fear of abduction and assassination. There are some stories that say that he was actually he was abducted, kidnapped. Before. I don't know if that's true or not, but what we know is that he later on he fell sick and traveled to Romania for treatment, and I think it was like 1971, and then by 1972, he gone.
Bro, I feel like the poison.
Prostate cancer.
Prostate
cancer. He died.
Prostate cancer is where if you want to check the right.
Prostate.
Yeah, no, that's
prostate.
Prostate.
Yeah.
No, that's the balls, bro. No,
I have no idea what you mean. I'm not a doctor.
No. We can Google, put up prostate cancer.
You want me to do this? Okay, bro.
That's where.
Now I gotta get on my phone.
Like you didn't want to do it the first time. No, wait. That one, that's at age 50. You're supposed to get that then checked, right?
I don't know anything about prostate cancer. Maybe I should.
They need to invent robots.
I know your prostate is.
That's the balls, brother.
No, that's not the balls. Your prostate is actually on top
of the balls.
No, it's like
what are you talking
this
about?
Part of your body.
No, it's not.
Bro,
Bro, are you looking at it?
Yeah, bro.
No. See, that's the bladder, right? And then underneath that,
like it's a little bit underneath.
No, it's underneath. Yeah, so that's where it's like it's not like it's on the ball. So no, like this is. It's like this.
Do you wanna call a doctor? No. Medical student.
Listen.
I can call a medical student.
What am I? What am I then?
No.
This is the thing, right? And then like it's your balls are right here, yeah, right? But like you watching? Are you watching? It's like right underneath. But anyways, let's talk about the principles of Nkrumah, like where he left me. And we should not really be focused on his death. We should actually focus on what he did and the mistakes he made that we can avoid in the future for our African.
So what are some of the mistakes that you think he made that we can?
He believed in a dream that was way too big for him alone to handle. I think that.
But if it was big, why didn't people help him out?
Why didn't people help him out? Well, no, then because they were, he was out here putting people in prison. Do you want to criticize him? He got to the point where he took hold of the nation's media and they were only reporting good things about it. So a man like that, do you want to go criticize him like, yo, my guy? Like, I feel like.
But you do know that one way or the other, government has a massive influence on the
media. Absolutely. But then if you're living in a nation that says that, we are different from the authoritarian leaders that you used to have, this is democracy, then I should be able to say what I want to say. But then don't put me in jail if I go against what you're saying, right? Like, who knows? Maybe if I'm saying something that's opposite yours, you might find a solution to that idea and be like, okay, maybe I can use this in my idea, my movement, and then maybe to help you out. But whenever you criticize him, it was an immediate jail. It became worse when he was getting that assassination attempt done on him, which I get. Every man is going to be paranoid after that kind of thing.
Okay. And I think another thing too that Nkrumah stand that he stood for was the idea of one party democracy.
Yeah. How does that work? How does that work?
I mean, think about it though. If you're choosing a flag bearer, how does that work?
Bro, he only said it because he said that he's the only person who's going to be leading it. He's the only one who is on top. Like, what do you mean? Like, remember, like his state of finance or secretary once asked him, like, yo, like, why are you only for one party? Then he said that the dream that he has, he doesn't believe anyone can do it except him. He didn't believe in the average Ghanaian or the average African.
Do you think that he spoke on this to say that? Because if I'm not trying to.
Go ahead. I want you to.
The devil's advocate.
Go ahead, bro.
The fact that what if the idea that I have, I haven't seen or witnessed anybody that's bold enough
to do it,
to rise up and say that let's let black man be capable to manage his own affairs.
Yes.
Because during that time too, that was not even that was way before Martin Luther King.
Absolutely.
During that time too, if you come into let me say you come into America or you go travel outside, black men were not respected as we see at least now, right? Yeah. So during that time, maybe he did not see people who were bold enough to rise up
to continue his mission.
Yes, I can do this, or we can do this. What do you think about that?
I think he could have done works. Okay, honestly, you're right. I agree with you. It's hard to really know if even under his own regime, like the people who said they were for Nkrumahism and they were for him, were all doing certain things that were sort of like against what he was preaching about, right? Like one Bible even said that socialism doesn't necessarily mean that you have to keep all the money, like at home. You need to be spending it and doing all it, which is not true, right? But this man was Nkrumah could not believe in the people around him because of how he saw that they were, right? But I think he could have really pushed down that idea of socialism. That's what I'm saying. He should have focused on home, right? Built the home base. Home base should have been one with the idea of what he's saying, and then they start moving out. The main purpose of me, I feel like, mine is not to make this thing happen. It's actually just to ignite an idea. Like, I might not even be the one who does the revolution. It might be what I'm saying might just spark someone. Which is why whenever you're in a nation where there's talking about dictatorship and all that, people like us, when we are on the radio or on the air like this, when we start talking now, those dictators will come for us, because they believe that what you're doing, what you're saying, no, it's true. How do you think 1,000 people were in jail, bro? He knew. No, because he knows how powerful. He knows how powerful speeches are. He knows how powerful they are to the human heart. So if he focused on home and just ignited that flame, they would have gone in all different directions and saved other people, and even who knows. But he didn't really believe in his fellow man.
So what is something that you also think that Nkrumah, a principle that he stood for?
What do you think he stood for?
No.
Oh, okay, sorry. No, man. I thought you wanted to say something else. Oh, what did I think he stood for?
Yeah, what else?
Aside from Pan-Africanism?
Yeah.
I mean, like, do not put your fellow man in jail kind of thing. Okay, no. Like, Nkrumah stood for, he came from a broke home. If you're like, he was not rich, right? He also studied his bump off. He studied really hard to get to the position that he had to be. Regardless of how it all ended up for him, you cannot take this one away from him. He liberated Ghana. He switched on the beacon of independence for whole of Africa. Something that the British government, they would have not seen coming from a mile away, right? Okay. They thought they were gonna intentionally make it seem as if, we are letting you all go, but it's still gonna have some.
I think they call it pre-colonial African.
See what kind of whack name they were given. You see what they're doing to us?
Yeah.
But you know, it was something. It was like basically saying that it was an underdog in this whole story. No one saw it coming. He moved fast. He moved with a bright mind, and he was not willing to compromise on any of it. He said he wanted independence right now, not tomorrow, right now.
Black man can manage their affairs right now. But essentially, I think the idea of all this is to speak to the fact that we have some heroes in Africa, right? Mm-hmm. And as black men growing up, and you know, there are a lot of tasks or a lot of things that we can carry on our shoulder to promote the image of Africa, right? To push the image of Africa. Because one of the things that I personally enjoy these days is people who stand up and say and then speak to the image of Africa, speak on the positive impact of Africa. Image of Africa, because you know, it's like you move here, you realize that a lot of people think Africa is just, you know, huts. So I remember I made a joke with my some friends that I had. You know, I used to tell them that, you know, when I came to America, I had a culture shock, you know, because when I came, I found out that in America, people drive cars and they live in houses, they have water, and then they shower and things like that, just like Africa. You get a shock right there.
It went off? Yeah. Asama, but how was that one? Holy, this is holy. Now, what was your call?
3, 2, 1, you ready?
What's wrong with it? It didn't record it?
It did.
So
just like
Africa. So essentially, what I was trying to say is that people think that Africa is just, you know, you walk around, nothing, you just take that, and then you're walking around, and then you hear turn around, the lion coming, and he's like,
bro,
you like mommy, and your mom is up there on the tree, like, let me pick you up.
No, it's true.
And then they pick you up.
Those we never really spoke well of Africans at home, but go ahead.
So essentially,
it's recorded.
What I'm trying to say is that as we go about our life as Africans, right, we should be very much aware that where we come from is a place. You need to kind of what he said. No, I remember now. So I remember.
Where's this going? What the heck? I was like, dude, why are you taking this? You ran out of points, didn't you?
No, so Africa itself is a beautiful place, right?
Yeah.
And when I say that, it's just like people think that we live in a place where, you know, trees and, you know, there's no cars. You walk 10 miles to go get water, or, you know, and I'm not saying some people live that life. Yeah, live that life, but it's just like
it's not that. That's not the only.
For me, I don't see the difference between America, where there is infrastructure, yet there are like homeless people.
Oh yeah, even right now they have dirty water in Jackson, Mississippi.
So there are a lot of issues in every country, but we need to start highlighting the greatness of Africa. Yeah. And one of the people that I like watching is like W.E.B, and he's a Ghanaian YouTuber that goes around just, showing videos about Africa. And shout out to him. He's from Takrady, so
really?
That's our Taddy boy.
Taddy.
So he shows like good things about Africa. That there are like some beautiful places.
Of course,
I genuinely enjoy being in Africa. I enjoy being in Ghana.
Yeah.
I enjoy like the whole atmosphere, the whole place. It's so peaceful. And so for me, I think that we as Africans should embrace our nature and then be able to witness onto the goodness of Africa.
I hope so.
And because essentially, that's what I'm thinking about is that Nkrumah is just speaking on all these things. That yes, Africans we need to rise up and then that we can manage our affairs and everything. But if we're not speaking on the good things of Africa and doing all that, then it's always gonna be like, what's there to being married or what? And also encourage people to not. I'm not saying, especially if you live outside Africa and travel outside Africa, I want you to always have it in mind to go back. I would rather encourage you to.
Absolutely.
Like, not that necessarily go back and live there.
Go back there and also
make an impact. Do your best wherever you are, who you are, whichever country, whatever it is. You can always make an impact in Africa.
Because like Nkrumah left Ghana. He came to the US and then Britain and stuff, and he could have been like, I would like to build a family here and live here and forget about enjoy life here.
And he was actually like getting successful in America.
Right.
Yeah. So I feel like he could have probably been an African leader or something.
Who knows?
An African community.
He could have just but he did not. He said, I'm gonna come home and then help my people.
Help my people.
He shined on the vision, and he has definitely lighted up that flame in me, and I wish to pass on the torch. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
African mindset, baby.
Foreign agencies are listening.
I know. That's why I kept quiet. I was like, it's okay. No, they are.
Don't be scared.
But I'm not. I mean, who knows? But like, just to make sure that you are willing to go back home and help. I always preach that whenever I meet an African immigrant, throughout our conversations, I'm always saying that, so are you one day like gonna go back and help? And I always would want the response to be, oh yeah. I mean, I get it. It's scary to be able to go there and start. You don't even know where to start from. I don't, but I know that at least if I go back and whatever help I can give, it's still a help that might save this woman. If I can at least save one life, hey, that's great. That's great. That's my favorite. Hey, I'll start with one first.
one at a time.
One at a time. I told you I'm not that smart.
He said he's the one and only.
I'm the one and only TV.
No, I believe I'm top 5.
Okay. This has been our show. Wait, do you have any last thing to add?
No, that's it. I was about to do the closing.
Oh yeah. This has been our show, African White Podcast. Thank you for joining us on the Black Leadership Chronicles. We're gonna cover another. Exactly. We're gonna cover another leader real soon. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for your support. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment if you think what we said is wise or foolish. This has been the African White Podcast. We are. See the mic drop.
I got you for your country.
Invitation to my contribution. And you are good and big and great and strong. Hey, we are all involved. We are all involved. We are all involved. Every for your country, the nation divide for a bush.